Welcome everybody to episode number 53 of Gaming Culture Radio. I'm your host Tyler. We're here with coverage of E3 2017, starting with coverage of today's Electronic Arts press conference, and I'm joined as always by our regular co-host, starting with Mike. Mike, how you doing?
What up, amigos? How's it going?
Well, pretty decent. Also joined by staff writer at xboxculture.net, Graham. How you doing today?
Doing good. It's E3 weekend, which is a great weekend to be a gamer. Lots of exciting things. Can't wait to see what else is in store for the weekend.
Yeah. Awesome. And also joining us, staff writer for xboxculture.net, Eugene. How you doing?
How is it going? What a day. It's been a day.
It has been a day. And we got a lot, well,
Definitely.
we have a lot and a little to talk about. So,
What do you mean it's been a day?
yeah, we'll get to that. But
Kind of underwhelming to me.
It was, but let's get our special guest introduced. Rami from xboxculture.net. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm ready to tear the hell out of EA right now.
So let's
Welcome.
Okay, just calm down. Just hold on.
let's start with
Spoilers.
some initial thoughts from their show today. I thought they started out okay. I was actually, as a Madden fan, I know not a lot of people are sports gamers, but as a Madden fan, I was really excited to see the new mode coming into the game. I thought they showed some cool stuff with Battlefield. I thought what we saw in Need for Speed was decent, and then it got bogged down like EA always does. So what do you guys think?
I was so excited when I first saw that drum line. I saw the drum line. They were wearing Patriots jerseys, but they started playing the fight song for Texas, right?
Well, no, I was looking at the
Longhorns.
jerseys in. I don't remember which song they were playing, but I remember looking at the jerseys in the clips, and there were Calls jerseys in there. And as soon as I saw that, I got fired up, thinking maybe this is the return of NCAA football.
Yeah, that's what I was excited about. The second I saw the drum line and I heard the fight song, I'm like, oh my God, are we getting NCAA back? And then the guy comes up. And he's in his Texas Longhorn jersey. You know, he's a college player, and I'm like, oh my God, it's actually happening. And then it goes further on in the video, and then we find out it's just a new campaign mode for the next Madden, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool because it was very successful in FIFA. But I mean, they really gave my hopes up right there.
Yeah.
You know what? As soon as Tyler said that, I said, no, that's not NCAA. I said they're just doing the same thing that NBA 17 did, which is take a handful of teams that you could come from, play a couple games with them, and then go up to the NBA. So I wasn't really surprised at all. To be honest with you, I don't ever think we'll ever see another NCAA for a very long time, if ever.
No, I didn't either. But
We
they got
won't.
my hopes up for a second.
I mean, I'm not really a sports fan, but I was actually kind of interested that they did add a campaign. And I did notice one of the actors in the campaign is the villain from Luke Cage. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
They got the dude from Friday Night Lights in there playing one part. So yeah, it seems like I don't remember his name. But it's a decent cast, and it sounds like they've been working on the script for this for like 3 years. So
Yeah,
I mean,
to
kind of a
me
cool
it
concept.
seemed like they took some of the ideas from FIFA with the Journey. I'm like, it seems like it got good reviews, so then Madden's
It
like,
did.
okay, like they were probably working on it, right? And they were probably planning, but the timing seems to work really well. So yeah, and me personally, I'm not a big Madden player. I usually put all my eggs in my NHL basket, but you never know. I could get in and try it, and this would be something that would more or less appeal to me. So yeah, kudos to them.
So, how about just general thoughts on the show before we dive into anything else specific? What do you guys think?
Too much gameplay.
Just-
Jeez.
From-
It's either too
Well, you
much
got more
or too
diaries?
little, or Here's the deal. It was decent until they put 30 minutes of Star Wars in at the end, and then put up that piece of crap phone game that's been out for at least 8 months. It's like that's what you're going to end
Galaxy of Heroes.
And
Yeah.
that one guy said he spent like what $1,000
$1,000
on the phone game.
Yeah.
I literally flipped
BS.
out on that. Like what? Like why? Why would you even mention that?
with. And then
know.
and then the girl says, "I've been playing it since December,
Yeah,
and I just can't be bothered with anybody whatsoever. I just play the game." I'm like, BS. You don't
Yeah.
play the game. You've got other things you do. Like, just not that. You know?
So-
I'm like, whatever.
I was disappointed that they ended with something so small. I really was hoping we were going to see. I know some of us had our hopes up for Dead Space. Maybe seeing a little bit of that visceral game, the Star Wars game, just a little bit of it to give us something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, and I even had my hopes up as a sports fan to see a baseball game.
Yeah.
But nothing there, and they wouldn't close with a baseball game anyway. It would be Dead Space or it would be that visceral game. But I was really surprised, and I don't know. So Eugene, you were under like too much Star Wars gameplay for you?
Too much Star Wars gameplay. Yeah, it looked great, but it shouldn't have taken up half the show. I know they're proud of it and they're wanting to cater to fans with the single player campaign, which I was very excited to hear about. Co-op, to have single player co-op. So that's awesome, and the gameplay looked awesome, but that was the entire spectacle. It was a game that we already knew was coming. They've already talked about it. They've already announced that there's a campaign. So why talk about it for 30 minutes? They should have talked more about, which I know they're going to talk about the next conference for Xbox. Their new title that they're working with BioWare on, which I am excited for that. That's probably the highlight of the conference to me.
My guess is that there's an agreement made that
I think that
the
was
bulk
the
of that's
highlight
going to be
for most
shown.
people.
Yeah, but my guess is there's an agreement made that the bulk of that's going to be shown tomorrow. And
and like to start it out, he was talking about 4K and the 6 teraflops and the capability of the Scorpio. So he's just like letting you know that it's going to be big tomorrow, regarding
it might be a launch exclusive.
what was amazing to me was that.
That's a very good guess.
It could be, but what's amazing to me is that they touted the Scorpio so much in that little segment, but what company's logo flashed before every single freaking game they showed? PlayStation showed before FIFA, showed before Battlefront, and
that's
at
pretty
least
funny,
one other
actually.
one. So I didn't fail to notice that. I'm sure other people didn't either. But let's jump into the conference. And see, we already talked about Madden. So Battlefield 1's getting night battles starting in July, and they showed off a decent amount of.
Good.
It does, and they showed out a decent amount of In the Name of the Tsar, the new DLC coming in September. So between those two, if you're a premium pass member, then you'll get 8 new maps between now and the end of the year. 2 of them for free no matter what in July, and then the other 6 is part of In the Name of the Tsar. Guys, I thought this looked amazing. I thought this looked like a lot of fun.
Is In the Name of the Tsar
Battlefield
part
again.
of the premium?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But no matter what, you get those 2 maps for free.
Yes, you get the
That's pretty cool.
the 2 night battle ones for free. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it was especially funny the montage with the people that were playing. I was laughing my ass off at that.
That's what I was
It's
just going to bring up.
hilarious,
You saw just all these amazing things people have done in the game. And you're right, you see him saying, like, I will never do that again. And they're right.
I might as well just quit now.
Yeah. Battlefield's one of those games where you get
yeah.
those moments, though. Where it's like, you do something, you're like, I would never be able to do that again, ever. So, it's, I really like that. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I think that's what makes the Battlefield series so special is that you just do these freaking nonsense things, and you're like, oh, okay, that's never gonna happen again. That's it. I should just stop.
Yeah. My first experience playing Battlefield with Frostbite Engine, with surround sound headphones 7.1, and you're just buildings are like falling down around you, and jets are crashing into it, and these are like, I'm like, wow, and I don't even know if I've had these experiences before, but it just sets up that just so many random events could happen. Like you're just going and this plane just crashes to the ground like 3 feet in front of you. Mm-hmm. So that's what I love about Battlefield.
Yeah, for me, for them to show it, now what, 9 months after release, and have me say, I want to get back into this game this summer. That's a successful showing of a game, to me.
Yeah.
So,
The part though is I watch these people play and they do so well, and I'm like, oh, then I'll get in, I'll play, and I'll just die and die and die, and it's like, damn.
The funniest one when the guy with the bomber went over and just mashed a bunch of people. It's like, I just killed everyone. All you see on the screen is like, ding, 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 ding. That was hilarious.
It was great, and I wish there'd be more moments like that in EA's conferences, and less like the one that we're going to next, which this is where they get bogged down every year. They always start with their new ways to compete, where they talk about their tournaments and they show off a bunch of these pro players that most of us have never ever heard of before.
Yeah.
And playing Madden, playing FIFA, all these things, and they really just focus on those two games for that. This year was particularly focused on FIFA in terms of the online competition realm, and they talked about new ways to do that. They didn't give a whole lot of details, but they said more will be coming over the summer.
Right.
And from there, they jumped into FIFA 18, which
Yeah.
they're going to sell the crap out of FIFA 18 whether they show it at E3 or not. And
Yeah.
that's just reality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I've always
they
thought
have
they give
to. You just have to.
I always thought they give a little too much time to that game. But what are you guys' thoughts? I thought this is where the show started to slow down.
I mean, I think they could just give way too much time on every sports game ever. I mean, it's nice to see like things like the Madden campaign. That's interesting. We want to
Yep.
see something new. But like, and then just FIFA, like, of course it's FIFA. Like, you're just gonna, and then just everything else sports, you're just gonna keep seeing it. If there's nothing new, then why spend so much time on it?
Mm-hmm. And I'm go with you on
Yeah.
that, and I think that's
Well,
why they
FIFA
left
is
out
a big,
NHL.
big money maker, though, right?
It is.
Yeah, I would say NHL.
But they sell over 10 million
NHL
copies of
always
FIFA.
misses the cut, though.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Here's the thing. If you guys remember, as far as sports games go, probably 5, 6, 7 years back, as they were coming out each year, they were making great strides in technology and, graphics or gameplay or whatever it is. But now it's gotten to the point where things have pretty much, the dust has settled, and there's just little added things like with FIFA. Now all the players will have human controls based on they'll actually move like humans based on like 4 people or whatever, What do they really have to showcase these days? I mean, they got now every game has got that road to the show type of mode, and it's just at least Pele wasn't on there, man. At least Pele wasn't on there.
Yeah, when they had Pele on stage, 2 years ago, it was
it was a disaster.
But I think it's cool to show that Ronaldo's the cover athlete. I mean, that brings
Yeah.
a lot of focus to the game. He's probably the most well-known player in the world.
Yeah.
But even me as like a super casual soccer fan, I know who that is.
Yeah, me too.
So
I
that's
don't know
good.
who that is.
But
No offense. No
That's
Okay,
fine.
you
offense.
get soccer in Canada.
yeah. But I think that this is where they tend to really bog down their show every year is when they get into the FIFA portion because, and I know they're pandering to the European gamer here, but at the same time I just feel like this could be cut in half too and be just fine.
Yeah.
So
I just think
yeah.
I think it's all over the place, man. They should have put Madden and FIFA and NBA and then got it over with and then kicked into a way out, which that guy was hilarious.
Oh,
Yep.
Speaking about that, like-
they kept jumping around, and then with 3/4 of the way through, okay, we're going to do 30 minutes of Battlefield, and then we're going to give you some crap mobile game to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what should have been the end of that.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So go
and
ahead, Remy.
And I don't know about you guys, but those presenters were they just looked so depressed on stage. It was just so
did.
cringeworthy to watch.
speaking
and
of percenters, Rami,
yeah,
what about that guy that just lost it? He just shut down.
The YouTube personality or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a
When they went
YouTube
off-
creator.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
oh
Yeah.
my god, that was so
Just-
weird. Why?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's I'm a YouTube creator, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
The
no,
only-
Like,
cared.
he started really big and then he just faded.
yeah.
The only thing he did naturally and comfortably was plugging himself. And then when it got into everything else, it was like, I forgot my words. He creates YouTube, he doesn't create words.
My
So-
favorite part of that whole conference was definitely a way out presenter because
Yeah.
well he wrote the game and it's you
Yeah.
see how enthusiastic he is. We want
He
to see
sold
that.
us the game.
Yeah,
Yep.
we
Yeah.
want to see
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
want to
I'm
see
sold
all
on it,
these
for sure.
freaking guys that have no motivation. They look depressed. They look like they don't even play video games.
Right. And this guy's like, you got to play this. It's
Yeah.
the greatest game ever
Yeah.
in the history of the world.
It was so
I-
reminiscent. Go ahead, Mike. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And I told Tyler when I was sitting next to him, I looked at him, I said, this dude's trying to. He's got the same attitude as some dude trying to sell fake iPhones on the corner of a New York street. He's like, you gotta love this, you gotta have it, you gotta play
Hey,
it. It's got the
I live in New
co-op,
York.
it's got this, it's got that. I'm like, this dude could sell vegetables on the side of a freeway, you know?
It kind of reminded me of the whenever the presenter came out and talked about Unravel.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, I mean, he was so passionate, and you could tell that he really wanted to be proud of this game, and he wanted people to get the experience from the game. So it is very nice to see somebody that passionate and that actually knew about games instead of somebody that I spent $1,000 on this mobile game.
Oh my god!
I know. No, it was really reminiscent of Unravel to me, and like you guys, the three of you know anyway how much I love that game. But I decided I was buying that game that day because I saw the passion that guy had behind what he was doing. And to me, that deserves my investment more than a game that's created in a boardroom.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
not to mention the fact the game did not look boring at all. It looked really cool.
And you could feel the passion in the game when you played it. You literally could. I thought the creativity was there. I thought the attention to detail, just the emotion of the story without a word being spoken.
Right.
Just put all that across, and I'm sure we'll see something. I don't think it's going to be the same type of story here at all, but I think we'll see the same type of thing out of this game. I thought the guy was hilarious, by the way, but you could feel the passion that he had for this project,
the energy,
and that's the one thing I'll give EA kudos on is this new program where they're investing in these smaller studios.
Well, that's also the thing. Like EA has they have no affiliation with this. Like, they don't touch the game at all.
Right.
That's why it's like it looks good. Anything that EA puts their money into is like only to make money. They only try to make money, but they're. I don't know, man. They just
they are a company.
They really need to step up the game.
Well, they're publicly traded company.
They do, but like in the independent side of things, they've really. They got me on board. Like, when I played Unravel, and then when I seen them come out and they're talking about indie games, I'm like, what do you got for me? And then after I watched the trailer and the guy talking about it, and first I thought that was it. We weren't going to see any more of it, but then they did show more of it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm sold. This game is good. So EA, they must have like good people to find these games because, like I said, like Unravel was amazing. This game looks really well, even though I haven't played it yet. So I'm hoping it's not going to disappoint.
So
I was actually hoping there was more than one.
Yeah. I was surprised we didn't see Unravel, actually. I thought we would. And
yeah, it's kind of hoping for it.
Well,
I seriously doubt it.
You know what
That was one of my predictions.
What I was excited for was NBA Live 18.
Now, hang on, we're going to get to that. So that's towards the end of the show where it belongs.
Good thing.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of games invented in a boardroom, the newest Fast and Furious, the video game. I'm sorry, Need for Speed.
Oh yeah, that one
was shown off, and there's some things I like about this game in that it's not trying to compete with your Forzas anymore. It's trying to be something different, which I think it needs to do. But this feels like Fast and the Furious, the game.
A pre-order Vin Diesel character.
Oh, don't take that. Stop. Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's gonna be in Top Gun. I don't know if you knew that. Top Gun
oh my
2.
God, really?
No, I'm just kidding.
It's not true.
We're just gonna carry on that joke.
Don't start those rumors.
I'd believe it too.
But with this game though, when I was watching it, one thing I just kept noticing is this car would go and would just bump another car, and then the other car would just go flying, like flipped over and all this stuff. Meanwhile, the other car just drives on like nothing.
Yeah, that's Need for Speed, though.
It's a little...
Actually, well, I mean...
It's so drastic.
Do that in Burnout Paradise.
Yeah.
My biggest problem, especially with like racing games, I don't play that many, but like when I see gameplay, it's always like this one car crashed into another car, and it's either your car is immortal or it just doesn't... It shouldn't... Right. It doesn't react the way it should. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love about Burnout, just like that series, is that there's just massive destruction. I would rather have massive destruction than like cars that don't move when you crash into them.
Well, technically, if you think about it, if you both are driving 100 miles an hour and you whop into somebody who is going straight like that, you will throw their tires off of traction and they will go flying. You know, how much they fly, maybe it's being exaggerated, but they will be spinning out or going, off into the ditch.
There was a lot of jokes on Twitch where like the car would get rear-ended, like a car got rear-ended and like its front bumper flew off. So,
So
But like I was telling Tyler, and like I talked to Tyler about this, screw this Fast and Furious stuff, and the Rice Rockets and all of that. Do another cops versus bad guys thing, but do it sort of like it's like a crime thing where you're in a city, you're in a grid in a city, and the robbers have to go to a bank, get the money out of the bank, jump in their cars, and take off. And they got to make it to a spot before the cops get them and knock them out off the face of the earth.
There is a heist element to this game. They didn't show it today, but I think some of that is going to be in this. Now, how well it's going to be done, it remains to be seen. But some of that's going to be in there.
Yeah, but I mean multiplayer, cops versus.
Oh, okay. Well, there might be. I mean, who knows? But I'm kind of with Randy on this. Like, I like two kinds of racing games because I actually do like racing games. But I either like on the end of like Forza Motorsport, where the scenery is so gorgeous and it just shows off the capabilities of the machine, and the cars are great and they handle great and all that stuff, or on the total opposite end of the spectrum, just total silliness and destruction.
Yeah.
I like one or the other, but when you get in the middle too much, you're not good at anything.
I mean,
this thing might have potential, especially like, let's say if we have like a co-op element to like the heists or whatever they have in the game.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I'd like. It seems like they have that too, from like the gameplay we saw, where one guy drove up and then the chick got in and got up and got inside the truck and drove out. So it seems like there could be a co-op aspect to it.
Might be, but it's hard to do co-op in a racing game. I mean, what does one person do? Just sit in the passenger seat?
Well,
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
they have like what
the GPS.
different people and like you like set up in like heist standard and
Different
one
vehicles,
person does
things like
this,
that.
one person does that, and yada yada.
Yeah.
So did they go into any kind of backstory at all, like to who the characters are, who you are?
I don't think so.
No,
Like, are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? Are you some kind of
has something to
government
do-
organization?
It has something to do with the mafia in fictional Las Vegas.
Ooh,
So
fun.
it's you somehow got caught up with them, and it's a revenge story, is what they said.
Of course.
So-
Isn't every racing game a revenge story at
Yes,
this point?
it is. It is.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
You scratched my car.
It's kind of like it's kind of like
Fast
pro
and Furious
wrestling.
franchise.
It's kind of like pro wrestling. It's like
Yeah.
if you yell loud enough in the racing games terms, if you drive fast enough and you beat them at this one race, then it solves everything. And
yeah.
where it's like in pro wrestling, they'll like, steal your girl or something, but as long as you beat them at the pay-per-view, it's even. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm with you on that too. But I've never played racing games for the story, though. I don't know if you guys have, but I never have.
Not really. No.
All right. We talked about A Way Out a little bit. Anybody else? Anything else to say on that? It looks kind of cool. Like what I did want to mention is that this is co-op only the whole way through, whether you're playing online or couch. You cannot
Or
play the
couch.
single player.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
There seems to be a little bit of a going trend of couch play, and this
There
is
is.
another example.
And I guarantee we're going to see that tomorrow. By the way, with
We
Halo
need
5.
more couch
They're
games.
going to add couch play back into Halo 5, guaranteed. But
Oh, seriously?
it's a rumor I've heard, but it makes all the sense in the world because that's where everybody's going right now.
Well,
so,
they
People
better
are so
because-
disappointed when it was gone, when they took it out.
Yeah,
but
every single game had it, so why take it out? It doesn't make sense.
yeah, I know.
And another going trend too. It seems to be keep mentioning that they're listening to their fans.
Yeah.
They're like taking in what people are tweeting about. Even with Battlefront, right? We'll talk about that later. But it seems like they are reading people's tweets and getting ideas from communities and stuff like that. So that's good to see, right?
Yeah.
So
Mike,
seems like they're like, okay,
I definitely want to
on
touch
Halo,
on
we'll
that
do
later.
co-op.
Please remind me.
Mike, what'd you have?
I was going to say about the Xbox, what they really need for like the Xbox or even the PS4 is a solid Mario Party type game. I mean, they've got licenses for Banjo-Kazooie and Rayman and all that stuff. Why not make a party game with all those cast of characters?
That
for
would be
couch?
really cool.
Yeah. Do you think Sea of Thieves might be that party type
It's
game?
never gonna happen,
No, I do not at all. I think
Well, I mean,
Sea of Thieves is going to be, you're doing it yourself, playing by yourself with people online.
Yeah.
They have tried something like it with PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale,
yeah.
and it didn't turn out that great.
Yeah.
Well, that's because PlayStation did it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't kill me.
Anyway, all right, back to A Way Out. It looked at first like it was just kind of like a Prison Break type game, but it's so much more than that. You get out of prison, and then this whole other story unfolds, and it was hard to tell kind of what it's all about.
How long do you think it is?
I'll bet you this is like a 4 or 5 hour.
It does not seem that long. But I mean, like it does. It's probably just going to be like a $15 game. I can't see it being.
You know where I see it going though is like a game that we all fell in love with here on the podcast, Late Shift, where the choices. Yeah, that game is really good. I don't know if you ever played it, but it's really.
I know what it is, but I've never played it.
Yeah, it's innovative and fun.
Yeah,
but
it's actually really fun. Yeah.
And where I'm drawing the comparison here is that the choices you make during the game draw you to lead you towards one of seven different endings. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of replayability to it, and the choices you make literally steer you down one of these paths. And I'm wondering if this game will have that too, where there's going to be multiple. The game might be short, but there's going to be different endings you can experience.
I don't think so, to be honest. It felt very linear in terms of story, but in terms of gameplay, it did feel like there is a variety. Like you can do like a lot of different things and experience it differently. But the story itself, I don't know. It seemed linear to me. I can't see a lot of choices happening.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. And they were showing off and talking about how you make different choices and the replayability was there. But yeah, I would say the overall story, especially coming from an independent studio, you wouldn't think it's going to be that bulky of a game, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I do think this will be a shorter game. But and I hope it's got replayability enough of it anyway to warrant whatever they ask. But I think if you're right, if it's like $15, which I agree with, then I'm all for supporting new ideas. So I'd probably pick it up at that price.
Yeah, there's no way it's gonna be like a full $60 game.
Well, I know Ghostbusters the game was $50.
Oh Jesus, that's stink.
Well,
I need to cuss about that.
So. And one other game recently came out, smaller game that was like $40. Oh, Friday the 13th was $40.
Yeah. Oh, you can't play that one though.
Well, you can now.
Yeah.
You can now.
Yeah,
you can play. You can play Searching for a Match is what you can.
No,
play.
you can fully play it now. It's good.
So,
I still don't think it's worth $40.
I mean,
though.
$40 isn't too bad, but still, I do agree it's a little excessive.
Yeah.
Rami just killed my dreams with this game, this A Way Out game, that you have to play co-op.
Yes, you cannot play single player.
Oh yeah, you have to.
It's risky, but I think it works out because if you can't, like, he had a dream and he went for it, and I think if he sticks to his co-op thing, I think if he altered it in any way to make it single player, it would be just a horrible experience for those playing it.
And didn't Brothers require you to play with somebody too?
No, it was actually on one remote.
Oh, that's right. It was on one remote, and you had to control both the characters, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this isn't all that spiritually different.
True.
So yeah. Now remember, that was the cool feature about that game. But all right. So next up is legitimately probably the most exciting thing to come out of the conference, and probably not coincidentally the shortest thing. It was Anthem.
Oh yeah.
And we saw something really brief. It looked very Destiny-like.
Yeah.
And
I wish I would have said that, Tyler.
Yeah, I know.
Don't put Destiny near it, please.
No, I just like.
I never played Destiny, but were there reptiles or?
No, but just the feel.
That creature.
Yeah, there are. But the look and feel of the game.
Wall.
Yeah, was very Destiny-like.
As soon as they showed the mask, I'm like, oh, Destiny.
So but it looks great, and this is where they started talking about Scorpio, and they started really touting Scorpio, talking about how powerful it is and all the things you're going to be able to do with it. Right before that, they showed screenshots of like Madden jerseys and the helmets and how they looked, and there is a noticeable difference, by the way, in how they look. But then they showed off this game, and they showed very small amount of it, saying that you're going to see a lot more tomorrow at the Microsoft conference. So prediction time, guys.
I know.
Is this an exclusive launch title for Scorpio?
Don't say that.
I'm going to say yes.
No.
I think it might be.
No.
Like I said.
Because, okay, just think. Their other game was Mass Effect Andromeda. And we don't quite know how long they've been working on that. But when the game came out, it didn't seem like it was
quite like polished. So it almost leans like they were focusing on another IP possibly, and this could very well be it. And they could be just been working really hard to get this out for the launch of Scorpio. So I don't think that's a bad.
Well, I mean,
bad guess for a prediction.
If it comes out like for the launch of Scorpio, that's fine. But if it's just exclusive to Scorpio, then you're
no,
just
no,
being-
launch. Yeah,
Exclusive
No,
to
launch.
Xbox.
That's not what we mean.
Okay.
It's gonna play
Exclusive
better.
to-
It's gonna play. Yeah, it's
Exclusive to
gonna play
Xbox.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
All right, yeah.
I
I can see that. I can see that.
remember the rumors that came out before they got wiped off the face of the internet was there were going to be 8 Scorpio-ready games at launch, and I would truly believe this will be one of them.
I think
yeah,
eight
like,
games is
that's
true.
what I mean. There seems to be a lot of evidence to support it.
Mhm.
I think that they just did a shoddy job with Mass Effect because Mass Effect is one of their bread and butter franchises. I just think they dropped the ball a little bit on it.
And
I
they've
don't
admitted
because
that.
BioWare is doing this game, and
Yeah.
another studio is doing the other game. So,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they've admitted it with Mass Effect too. They said we screwed up,
yeah.
and so they've actually shut down future plans on it for now, while they look into how to kind of redo it and do it right. But
Right.
okay,
I'm really hoping for
yeah.
like a psychological theme
I'm
to this game because there was some creepy shit in there, man.
Wasn't that what
There
like
was.
Prey? What Prey
Yeah.
was supposed to have been?
Yeah. A little
I haven't
bit.
finished Prey.
So, all right. So now into the biggest game of the conference, NBA Live 18,
Nice.
and I wish they would just
Oh,
quit
is that the
with
one?
this series. I just wish they would give up on NBA and be done.
Why are they still trying?
They-
It's not like they're
There's
making money off of it.
basketball
Why-
fans
why do
out
they
there,
keep
and
trying?
there's money to be had.
They
So I saw-
already have a good basketball game. Why are they trying to compete with 2K?
I can
So I
tell
saw
you,
the.
Yeah, but it's not
I
EA.
like the feel of the NBA series more than I do the 2K17 series and 2K series, and I know I am in the minority in that big time. And I'm sure there's boos going on, but I just like it better. It's just how it is.
I mean, do you
So-
guys not cringe at all? Like
Yeah, I
whenever
cringe
they're
every
showing
time.
like, yeah, like hey, watch me bounce this ball, and I have full control of this ball. I can bounce it back. I can bounce it back forward. I have full control. And
That
watch
was-
me as I go around this other player.
That was
Watch
the
other
whole
player.
sports
he missed his
segment.
mark. I
It
was
was.
just cringing the entire time.
And
Yeah.
no, but here's the
Look
thing.
how
so-
terrible this guy is. I'm playing against.
The numbers don't lie, and if I remember the numbers correctly, NBA Live 16, which, because they didn't put 17 out, they canceled it. NBA Live 16 sold less than 100,000 copies. And you're still coming back with this game this year, and the only thing that explains it is that they're still paying for the license from the NBA. And that's the only, they're trying to get something.
Yeah,
But-
probably.
This
EA
game
is always
so-
trying to get something though.
I know, but this game is so overmatched by NBA 2K, and I would understand if they sold 300,000 copies a year, because then they could make something out of Ultimate Team, which is what drives their sports, division.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
less than 100,000, you're not going to make enough out of Ultimate Team.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you find anybody to play? I don't know.
People
But-
will always buy it, dude.
Yeah, but they didn't last time. That's the thing. It's like, so I don't know. I would rather see them invest in a baseball game if they're going to do it, because
Oh, I agree.
EA made a fantastic baseball game back in the day,
Yeah.
but I don't see it happening anytime soon. And the rumor is, by the way, that the MLB license is the most expensive video game license to get, even
Really?
even more than NFL. And,
That's
and if that's not true, then it's second. It's more than the NBA, which is insane.
Yeah.
So.
It is.
But that's one of the holdups too, I think. But
Mhm.
yeah. So anything else on NBA, guys, or?
No, we can just pass that through.
All right.
Yes,
All right. So here's a game that took up most of the conference. Honestly, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they could have shown half of the gameplay they showed, and I would still pre-order it. I'm excited for the game. I think it looks fantastic. I think they've rectified a lot of things that were lacking in the first one. I just think they showed it for too long. And I think it just slowed down the conference again. And, man, people just sat on their hands through most of EA's hour and a half. But
Yeah.
what are you guys' thoughts?
My thoughts, very, very, very much that every time I hear the word game changers, the hair on the back of my neck sticks up.
Oh God.
Because they have screwed up so much freaking crap on other games that I don't want game changers to have anything to do with the games at all. You know, and we have 19 game changers and one chick here, and when they're all gonna play, I'm like, okay, great. And they're like telling the story about how we flew them all out, that they could give the input and everything like that.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Did you have a bunch of game changers show up for Battlefield 1? I don't think you did. And Battlefield 1 is extremely successful, and this looks like Battlefield with Star Wars skin, which is exactly what a lot of people want. So kick the game changers to the curb and let the general public say what they want, not these 19 individuals who are ripping good at games.
Here's the thing. So let me jump in real quick, and then I'll turn it over to you guys. Because I agree with Mike, but to a point. And I think that the Game Changers program is good if you have a representative sample of your community. And the problem is they don't. They take the super best of the best. So where Mike first got his distaste for Game Changers, and me too, was with the NHL series. They brought in Game Changers to make it all better. And they brought in the super best of the best at the EA Sports Hockey League portion of the game. The problem is those are the guys that score 8 points a game, like Steve. And but literally legit 8 points a game. And they just do whatever they want. They're super skilled at it. That's not the average player. So the things that player wants are totally different from what the average player in that game wants. And I think the super best need to be heard from. But so do the people who play it casually, and so do the people who just want to play with their friends.
Yep.
To make it accessible for everybody. And that's where I have a problem with the Game Changers thing, is that you're only catering to the super best without taking in any account of the vast majority of your community. So, anyway, rant done. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was kind of upset that we didn't get it to see, because they claim that they have all the eras, but I didn't see anything from the trailer or the gameplay of, the second movie or the third movie. I didn't see any, Clone Wars. I just saw, Phantom Menace, and the rest is the stuff we already know that's there. Yep. I didn't see any second movie or third movie.
No.
I want
the flavors there.
Yeah. Well, I want to see some General Grievous. That's what I want to see.
That'd be cool.
Oh, you want General Grievous as a playable character?
Of course.
There's no way. You're going to see some dude going through, it's all over for everybody.
I've heard that he is.
He
should
better
be super weak on the sabers.
Wasn't he in old Battlefront? Wasn't he in Battlefront?
He was.
2?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was a great playable character. He's a great hero. Yeah.
You want all eras? Add him in. I want to see him.
I think they will. They've got Darth Maul in there. They got to have him in there.
Yeah, and this game does look promising, but honestly, I'm afraid that it's just something eerie is gonna happen. Something really bad.
What?
Okay. One of the best things of the announcement was free.
True.
Free DLCs. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say.
But the biggest problem with them claiming free DLC, what if it starts out with little to no content, and then they just chum in all this free DLC and they're just backlogging it?
EA learned from that. EA learned a lesson from that with one game that's not nearly on the scope of Battlefront 2, which was Tiger Woods Rory McIlroy PGA Tour. They released Rory McIlroy PGA Tour with 9 courses to play on, whereas Tiger always had 20. And they said, well, we're going to update it all for free. And even by the time they were done updating, they only had, 16, Mike? Maybe?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. They completely jumped ship, and nothing was ever heard from again.
But the point is, that's a game that they're not relying on nearly as much, and the revolt was huge in that community. They're not going to do that. They've already promised 3 times the content of the first game. So
here's
I think this game's going to be robust and good. Go ahead, Eugene. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Here's my idea. So they say free DLC, but what free DLC means to me are a few characters here and there and a few maps here and there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean free expansions. They're still going to have some expansions, I'm sure, on this game. And they kind of like how they did with whenever they released Destiny. You bought the season pass where you got the DLC, and then later on down the line, they released 2 expansions, and your season pass did not cover the expansion.
See, that's
which kind of
the thing,
burned up a
though.
lot of players.
That pissed off a lot of people because when you
It
buy
did.
a
It
season
did.
pass, you get everything. Now,
Yeah, but you only
Yeah,
got the
you
DLC.
should.
Now they said free DLC, so it doesn't matter if it's an expansion pack. It doesn't matter if it's a character. It doesn't matter if it's whatever it is.
I think-
If they come back and say, well, you get this one thing as free DLC, and then we're going to start charging for the rest of it, they're going to get a backlash. So they know what they'd have to word it super carefully to make sure that everybody knew that the thing in December was free, and then everything else after that they'd have to buy a season pass for. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of blowback.
I think they're going to follow the Halo 5 model. And they're going
That's
to
what I was
have...
gonna say. Halo
Yeah,
5.
because
Yep.
they've already talked about this concept of seasons, where each season represents a different era. And so when Season 1 rolls out, that they've already said is going to represent The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So you're going to see extra content from that movie roll out free. And
Right.
then Season 2 might be Empire Strikes Back, or something.
Right.
And we'll see more content roll out from that. And I think that's a good way to do it, where you can get away with like 2 maps at a time, and a couple heroes, one good, one bad, and keep moving on, just like Halo did. Because Halo's updates weren't that huge. It's not like they put out a giant map pack that gave you like 4 maps at a time.
Right.
It was always like 2 at a time,
But they had the toolkit too.
but it was all free.
Yeah.
And that went a long way towards kind of bringing back that relationship between Halo's fans
Yeah.
and 343, because if you remember when Halo 4 came out, the player base dropped by like 85% after 2 weeks, and for online, and that's when Call of Duty came out that year. So
Yeah.
they had to find a way to keep their player base around, and that's how they did it. And when you think about the competition out there this year for Battlefront, you've got a Call of Duty World War II game, you've got Battlefield 1 continuing to pour content in, and you have Destiny 2. You have to have something that's going to keep your players there. So
Yeah.
I like the free model, because Call of Duty's not doing the free model. No way. And
Nope.
Destiny's not doing it either. We know that.
Yeah.
So this is a way you can separate yourself and keep players playing.
Another
No.
point.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Um,
Go ahead.
Another point is that they said, like, of course there's offline, like, couch co-op. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, there's either no online co-op for the campaign, or there's no couch co-op for the multiplayer. Like, do you guys know anything about that?
I don't remember seeing any couch co-op for multiplayer.
Yeah. See,
So
like,
there is going to be co-op for campaign though, from what I
but
saw.
is there online co-op for campaign?
I think so.
But
And I would love to see it be like 4-player, but I don't think it will.
I don't understand why they would remove, like, they would give us couch co-op for the campaign but not the multiplayer. See, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
And-
I'm
yeah.
not sure.
And that's just really annoying,
Yeah.
because
I'm not sure.
it limits replayability as well. Just
Yeah.
like, you just take out multiplayer for no reason.
Right.
So, Rami, be honest with you, my friend. I can't stand it when I play couch co-op multiplayer with somebody, because I'm constantly looking at their side of the screen. And I can't see any. I can see half as wide as I usually can, and I'm getting just railed. And to me, I'd rather not play multiplayer.
Gotta get a bigger TV, bro.
I got one, man. I mean, it can only go sideways
you
so much.
remember
Not
Tyler?
big enough.
So Eugene,
You remember Tyler when we tried to play Gears of War?
oh
Co-op?
god, yes, it was awful.
It's so horrible. Yeah,
But that was on like a hotel
it just
TV,
reminds
though.
me of that.
So like we're at a training thing.
True, but
52-inch Zenith.
Yeah, that's what it was.
pretty
So-
much. I mean, pretty much.
But that's how spoiled we are today too, because like back in the day when we played like Nintendo or original Xbox, if you're on a 32, you're like, oh my god.
And
This
you're
thing's
like
so
2 feet
huge.
from the screen. Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
at 32, and you're like, this thing's so huge. Now you're just like trying to get as close as you can. You're like, I
Yep.
can't see anything on this tiny thing.
That's because
This
we're
is-
all blind after all these years.
I know, but
Yeah,
you look at a 32-inch TV today, and you're like,
Who
this thing's
said
like
that? Come closer.
I know. You're like,
Yeah.
you're like, this thing's like an iPad. But
Yeah. Create monster TVs. Bring in degenerate
See,
eye disease.
that's the thing too. Like with the Nintendo Switch, like I tried to play it on tabletop mode at one point. I'm like, oh my god, this screen is small. Like
it's almost like your iPhone, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
PC, anything
We're
in Zelda
pretty much
playing that game.
used to big screens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
So, well, with that being said, there was one thing I wanted to touch on. I can't remember real quick. I can't remember because Remy took off, and then I followed his thought.
Sounds important.
Oh yeah, they can't. It's like they have to wait to release that world from Star Wars 8. So they pretty much have to give it for free if they're gonna say it expands everything. So they just have to wait on it, But I really, like I said, I really hope they don't try to pull that BS, and then that's just gonna be another backlash. And we never played Battlefield 1, unfortunately. I'm terrible at it, but I still like to cuss at it. But I think Star Wars will be the FPS that gets me back in, and I will probably smash at the smithereens with the class system.
Mhm. All right.
Yes. See, I'll probably be spread out between Destiny and Star Wars. That'll probably be my two FPSs.
And the cool thing is they're different enough that you can
Yes.
do it. So,
Yeah.
Because then if you throw Call of Duty in that, well, then that's kind of like Battlefield and kind of like Destiny. I guess not really, but I don't need three.
Here's the thing, though, if
Three is
we-
too much for me.
Graham, I'm telling you, if we crush on Destiny early in September, we're going to be through everything by the time November rolls around. And we're going to be waiting on the first DLC.
I want to see some crazy space battles. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can always download Galaxy of Heroes and get those crazy.
Oh
space
yeah,
battles.
yeah. You know what? Let me
Yeah,
just
just-
drop 1K right now. For
Oh,
that.
yeah.
You need to drop $2,000 so you
Yeah.
can impress that lady on TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Try to.
So,
Hey, brother.
so let's go around. That was pretty much it for the EA conference. Before we get to questions, let's go around and just kind of give it a grade, A through F, or anywhere in between. What do you guys think we landed?
All right. Well, if they wouldn't have just, it was like patchwork. Like I said, it's like football game stuff, soccer game stuff, NBA. It was just kind of like thrown together. I don't know. I give it a strong C.
Okay.
Mm.
Who's up?
Well, I'll go next because I'm gonna give it a C as well because it wasn't terrible. Like we pretty much knew most stuff they're gonna bring. I like that they got EA originals and still supporting indie. You can't really give a grade based on hinting about the BioWare game. So, but Battlefront, that was probably the most exciting thing, and the DLCs come for Battlefield 1. So I'll give them like a C minus, I guess, if I have to give them a type of C. C minus.
By strong C, I mean C.
Yeah.
Not C plus,
Yeah,
not
no,
C
I know.
minus. Dead in the middle, C.
Strong C.
Eugene, what do you got?
You guys are too friendly. I'm giving them a
Wow.
D.
That's
Oh,
because you
like your
the
NHL grade?
No, so listen. So I knew of every game that they talked about. I already knew about every game that they talked about. We already knew they were going to be released. I already knew that there's going to be another campaign for FIFA. I didn't know they were going to bring the character back, but I knew everything that they talked about, with the exception of Anthem. Didn't hear anything about Anthem. We
And
won't
A
hear
Way
about
Out.
it. A Way Out. I've heard about A Way Out. I heard about it a few months ago. I saw a YouTube video on it actually about how they're going to have like a prison-style game where you have to escape. So I have heard about A Way Out. I didn't know that
right.
they were EA supporting it, but it was just very. It was very lackluster. It didn't impress me too well. Everything that they did talk about, we already knew was coming out. I did enjoy the Battlefield and the Battlefront gameplay. I think they pushed the gameplay too much. I think they had just the right amount of Battlefield, but went way too far with Battlefront and was going, like you said, Mike, with the game changers was pretty cringeworthy. The whole John Boyega tweet thing was pretty cringeworthy. I'm glad they addressed it, but show something new. And then they have to end it off without. We're going to talk about it in the questions, but I was really hoping for an old franchise to come back. And then they ended off with Galaxy of Heroes. So I think it's very lackluster. It wasn't very creative. It was long, boring, and even the audience. You could see the audience. Just people were on their phones, probably on Facebook, because they're bored.
that audience blew.
Yeah.
The only
So
people
that's
that
fine.
were clapping was the presenters.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll give him a D.
know it was terrible.
D plus.
Why are you there if you don't want to be there? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if this doesn't interest you, go away.
Well, a lot of it's
Let
gaming
somebody in
press
it.
too,
Yeah.
so they have to be there. But yeah, the rest of it I agree. There are people there that are just there, that are part of the EA Play thing. So if you're not going to be excited, like here's what I will give Sony credit for this: their fan base comes excited every year at E3.
Mm-hmm.
And they make that event so much bigger. They get Sony more credit than they deserve because of how excited they get. But
I swear to God, they got a punch bowl with Adderall outside the venue.
Rami, what do you give them?
Very weak D, because honestly, I'm not into the sports
Right.
games. I'm not into Need for Speed. I'm not into any of that. Even Battlefield 1, I wasn't really that interested in, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like, the only interest I take from that whole conference was the Way Out developer being
Mhm.
incredibly enthusiastic, made me want to
Yeah.
buy the game on the spot. That game looked amazing. And the 2-second Anthem trailer.
Yeah, I know.
that was literally the highlight of the whole conference.
It was,
And then
Yeah.
the rest of the presenters, I was actually cringing, like, watching it. Like, I didn't even want to watch it. I was just playing Zelda. I was literally playing my Switch because I didn't want to watch them, and I was just waiting for the trailers. That's how bad it was.
So,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to be slightly nicer. And here's
Oh,
here's the only
always gotta be
reason.
the good cop.
No, but it's not that nice. It's slightly nicer. But
Okay.
here's the only reason why. That EA has this unique challenge every year because they have everything. So like when they're talking about their sports games, which they have to talk about, the Star Wars fans and the Battlefield fans are like, "Oh my God, well, can this please end?" And when
That's true. That's true.
and when the FIFA fans and NHL fans and Madden fans are listening to Star Wars Battlefront, they're like, "Oh please, again."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a unique challenge, and
You're
it's
right.
one that no one else has, really, because half of EA's brand is their sports. So, but that said, they still weren't all that great today. I thought they were better and more on message today than they have been in previous years. I thought they let themselves get bogged down with sports less this year than in previous years. I'll give them a C plus. I think they could have made that conference 45 minutes, and I probably would have given them a B, because I think we saw too much. It got redundant with the Battlefront gameplay after a while,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
to
But
tease us with
a good. Oh, sorry.
they one more thing. They could have kicked off the conference with Anthem and said tuned in tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central for Microsoft to learn more, and then just shut it off, and I would have been fine.
More
I
to come.
didn't really see why, but the Battlefield montage was hilarious.
That was I enjoyed that.
The guy's battery running out and semi-stroking was hilarious.
Mhm.
And there was one other thing. Oh yeah, the A Way Out guy. You know, the
Yeah.
rest of it,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's why I gave it the C, because that stuff made the difference.
You know what
The-
bothered me the most about the Star Wars Battlefront gameplay is that nobody crashed their ships into the ground, into troops. Like that happens in every Battlefield game, in
Yes.
every Star Wars game. Like,
You're not playing
why?
with game changers.
Yeah.
You're not playing with game changers. That's why.
Yeah.
Game changers don't crash, dude. Don't
It,
you
it
know?
made me,
that?
Game changers
it
don't
made
do
me
that.
cringe. It made me very, very
So-
much cringe.
God, you're such an
Here's
idiot
my-
at games. Game changers don't crash.
I know. Like if anybody at EA is listening, I guess it would be my advice for your conferences. Like, you guys have this stigma, and whether it's earned or not, of being the company that's like totally emotionless and you just make games to make money. Whether that's
I mean,
deserved or
they're
not
voted.
is, I know, but whether that's deserved or not is relevant. It's the label you have. So, the 2 best reactions you got today, or the 3 best reactions you got today, were
Yeah.
people showing true, real emotion. And it was the Battlefield 1 players, that montage. It was the guy from, what's the game again? Sorry.
A Way Out.
A Way Out, yeah. The guy from Way Out. And it was the girl that plays the lead role in the single player. No. And I'm not,
It was the blonde chick for me.
No. Listen,
Oh,
it's how emotional she got about talking about her mom being there, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a big day for her. Those 3 things got the most reaction out of the crowd.
Gotcha.
And if you look back, Unravel guy, same thing. You
Yeah.
know, they need more of that, because when you watch Sony and when you watch Microsoft, when Microsoft's on their game, you can feel the passion behind what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's missing from EA.
Yeah.
For me.
Worst thing was the NBA 18 guy that came out and started talking about it. He looked like he was ready just to
Do
end it
you
all.
remember when they brought the guy out like 2 years ago and had him like map his face
Yeah.
for NBA? Oh,
And then he started
no.
making fun of one of the top guys, like that was on stage,
Oh,
like
his
patting his
weight.
belly.
That's right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like patting his belly and stuff. I'm like, what is
Oh.
going on?
Yeah, but the guy
So
who came out
terrible.
for 18 is just like, yeah, well, you're doing 18, and here's the game in sunlight with on monitors, and
That
yeah,
was almost everybody.
I'm gonna go get a bottle of vodka and go off
They
myself.
they made the Switch
He's
presentation
like,
look
I got
amazing.
better things to do.
No, these people made
Yeah.
the Switch presenters look like, trained professional public speakers. So, anyway, all right,
I
that's.
would have
Somebody
given
said something
anything
about
to see that
questions.
again.
But yeah, let's get to questions. Eugene, what do we got?
So we've had some EA related questions today
All right.
on our Facebook page. So once again, you can go on Gaming Culture Radio forums and ask questions, and you will have a chance to win one of $400 worth of prizes.
Over
which
400
also
because I just
includes
picked up
some-
another one today.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So-
And then we're giving away a game title for each conference. So be excited for that. To be considered for that, you have to submit a question. So our first question comes from Steven Wiseman. And his question is, what is the likelihood of a new Dead Space? How much would you want a new Dead Space? I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it at the very end. I was just hoping, but then Galaxy of Heroes came out.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I wanted it bad, and I would if it was before the conference, I would have said the likelihoods maybe like 40%. Now obviously we know the answer, but yeah, it was disappointing.
Steven?
Honestly,
Mhm.
if they ended it on that note, I'm sorry. Honestly, if they ended it on that note with the reveal trailer for that,
Yes.
I think we would have remembered the EA conference a lot differently.
We would have.
He's right.
Yep.
Right. Steven, I want it as much as I want every single microphone you touch to break immediately.
So that means he wants it bad. Translation?
Yes.
All
Okay.
right.
Give
Me-
me Midas touch
I-
with microphone.
So ultimately, we want Dead Space. Give us a Dead Space.
Yeah.
And there's still hope. I still hope that during Microsoft's conference or something, it'll just pop up,
Yeah.
which would be amazing. So
I
Maybe.
doubt it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They would have showed it at this conference because of how honestly this conference was horrible.
needed
So they they definitely needed something. There's no way they would hold that back.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Next question comes from Brian Richland. With more companies like EA and Nintendo doing their own special conferences, do you think eventually E3 may go away? Also, do you prefer this method versus everyone having an E3 conference?
It's really not that different to me right now. I mean, we still watch the conferences, and they're still the same weekend, right? And
Yeah.
it's just less condensed, which is nice for us with like what we're doing.
Yeah.
It gives us a little more breathing room in between,
Right.
versus having to jump one to another, to another, to another.
Yeah.
But it hasn't changed that much. I mean, and if like EA Play was in Boston, then it'd be different. But it's in LA, so you can still go to it and go to E3 and do all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
well, has E3 ended as we knew it before? Yeah, I think it has. But I think we'll see it go more this way, so companies can control their own message and do all that stuff. But it doesn't really bother me. Go ahead, Mike.
No. E3 is a lot like Coachella is to music. It's just there as an umbrella to bring everybody together for, a solid amount. I mean, a specific amount of time for everybody to get their Ito Bonito stuff out, and then we all move on to the next one. The next concert, whatever. GamesCon that's coming out in August or whatever it is. And then PAX or whatever. So it's just I don't think that it's ever going to break up and then them just do this and that and the other. So.
Yeah, they all take place at the same time, and it's like you go to YouTube. What do you type in? You type in E3 trailers, and even if it was technically an EA conference, it's going to be labeled E3 trailer.
Yep.
All right.
It just went dead for a second. I was so
Yeah.
confused.
All right. So next
You're like, "Did I
question
say
is
something
actually
wrong?"
a two-part question. You're right. So this two-part question, two different listeners But their questions are very similar, so I'm going to tie them in together. We have Dylan Anderson. He asks, do you think EA knows that most of their games are flawed constantly with bugs and glitches? Do you think that they care, since they're one of only 4 major developer publisher companies? David Fry also asks, do you think there is a possibility of EA Sports games going every other year to polish things like giant goalies, proper stadium direction, etc.?
So, Graham, I'm going to let you go first on this because you actually knew people who worked on EA games when you lived in Vancouver, correct?
I was gonna say that, yeah, for sports games anyways, because the thing with sports games is there's a due date every year, and if that game doesn't come out on that date, then you're gonna have even more haters than you already have, and you already have enough haters, you don't need any more. So basically, game testers go and they find all these bugs and stuff like that, but EA has only got a set amount of time, so they know that when they release games that there's bugs and there's things like that, but they just bite the bullet and maybe they're like, well, we'll patch those later or something like that. But they know that when they release these games that there are bugs, and they don't have the time basically to fix them all or test everything and make sure everything's all good. So they release it knowing that they have bugs.
To tie in with David's question, do you think they should extend their time limit to 2 years maybe?
Okay, do I think and will they is 2 different things. Like, we've talked about this numerous times. And bottom line is, every year on that day, I will buy NHL, and there's certain people that will do it with Madden, some people will do it for both, or 3 titles, whatever. So, because, unless people stop buying it, which I'm not going to be that person, then they're going to keep releasing them every year.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I don't think, honestly, the whining aside from impatient gamers, I don't think anyone cares that you're going to take a year or 2 to work on your game. If it comes out and it's great and it's amazing and it's impressive, then do it. If you take more time, that's what gamers want. Because if you keep throwing up these like titles you just want to push out every year just to make money, and that's not even including sports games. That's every game they publish or make. It's just that they throw it out there.
For sports games, if it's great and amazing and all that stuff, then why even replace it 2 years down the road? Like,
Well,
so basically, they have to do this.
You gotta trust them. I mean, but you can't, because they said that the PGA Tour Golf was going to be a biannual thing, and they just disappeared off the face of the earth when they started getting massive complaints and, where's this, where's that? You guys said you're going to have this done by now. They just disappeared and washed their hands of it. You cannot get anybody that is a representative of EA whatsoever to speak to you on the forums about PGA Tour Golf at all. They have gone.
And that game should be coming out like right now, the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. My answer's different on this too. Like, should they? No, because $50 million or $30 million is a lot of money, and that's what they make off Ultimate Team every year, and that helps fund other projects. And we wrote an article on Xbox Culture a few weeks ago where we all kind of debated this, but for me, I think that extra money you make helps them bite the bullet on some lesser grossing franchises like UFC and like NHL and like PGA, should they bring it back. But Madden and FIFA carry the load for those games through the revenue generated via Ultimate Team. And if you release a game every other year, you cut that revenue in half. And the reason I say that is because once your team's 99 overall, you're not spending any more money. And the people who spend the money spend it right away. It's not like somebody's going to decide a year later that's never spent any money, now I'm going to invest $400 in Ultimate Team. They're not going to do it then. So there is a way around it, and I've heard it kicked around before, where they make Ultimate Team a free-to-play experience where you just have in-game purchases for packs and all that stuff. And then the core game, is separate. Yeah. And if you do that, then you can release the core game every other year and just do an in-between your roster update for $25.
Yeah.
You'd probably still be okay. But as long as Ultimate Team is tied to the yearly iteration of the game, there's not a chance they'll go to biannual release.
Right.
That's my take.
Okay.
Who else? Eugene, any thoughts?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Take us
That's
onward.
the way we like it.
Let's do one more question.
One more, and then we're going to announce our
this-
winner for EA.
Yeah.
All right, so this question comes from Anthony Dennis,
All right.
the
Oh
chief.
god.
I think I know him.
I think I know him too.
Yeah,
We've
if you
talked to him
don't
quite a
know,
bit today.
he is the editor-in-chief of Xbox Culture, and he had a question. He asked, do you think it's possible for EA to go down a different path and surprise us at this year's E3? Well, we've kind of already covered that. But do you think they still have another new title that has yet to be announced or leaked? And what would you like to see?
Well, I think we
Dead
kind of
Space.
we kind of got the answer with Anthem. But man, I would still love to see Dead Space. It's time for one. The last one was in 2013, so it's been 4
Wow,
years.
that's been a long time.
Yep.
Did it
Yeah.
sell well though?
I think
Dead
it
Space
did
3.
fine. I think it did all
It's
right.
fine. It had a little bit of a poor reception, but everyone liked it for the
They
most
brought
part.
Phantom Dust back, for Christ's sake. You can reinvest in Dead Space.
Oh no, I definitely want them to bring back Dead Space. Bring back Isaac Clarke. Bring back a spaceship like the Ishimura. So
But
bring us
give me
back.
the
instead.
give me the core experience though of Dead Space, being on a ship in a confined area.
Yep.
Not what
Yeah.
Dead Space 3 gave. So
Yeah.
that's
On a
my
planet.
wish for that. Yep. But yeah, other than that, I don't see anything new and exciting coming out of EA unless they have another surprise tomorrow for Microsoft. But I think Anthem's going to be it.
Unravel 2? Huh?
They would have done that
No.
today.
Getting
Yeah,
Unravel
they would have
2?
shown that.
Yeah, they
I
would-
mean,
Yeah,
it might be
I know,
something
I
for
know.
the Scorpio though.
What?
Possibly.
Scorpio.
Why? What?
Wait, maybe Unravel 2 could be an exclusive.
Oh,
Like
shut
you
up.
said they
It's
need
not
8,
happening.
right?
Your
Maybe they're
prediction-
not major titles.
Your prediction is fail. Next.
What-
No,
We'll see.
it hasn't yet.
I think it's
There's
still
still
up in the
hope.
air. They
Yeah,
still
because
have, they
Unravel
might-
totally needs fucking the Scorpio power. That's what it needs.
I'll buy a
Needs to be powered by
Scorpio just for Unravel 2.
So
That's
here's
how
my
much I
here's
cost.
my
I'll buy a
argument on that.
Scorpio.
Is that Microsoft really supported the release of Unravel. I think that they may do something in return to kind of show their support, have a full
Maybe.
retail release of it. I think it might turn out to be something nice for their relationship.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That would be cool. And we'll see tomorrow. We're going to wrap up the show in a second here with just a couple thoughts about Microsoft tomorrow. But before we do, let's do our giveaway for our EA conference. And we actually have something really cool to give away here. 2 things. So we're going to give away a copy of Halo the Master Chief Collection. And we're going to give away a 1-year subscription to EA Access on Xbox One.
Ooh,
All right.
Yeah.
Fancy.
So to our lucky winner, and by the way, if you entered in to win, it's by submitting a question on Facebook, you were entered into the drawing. So we did the drawing before the show. You were entered in to win, and if you don't win here, don't worry, you're still entered, and keep submitting questions, because for every question you submit, as long as they're legit, not like
Yeah.
don't flood us with like 50 questions, but
Yeah.
as long as they're legit, you'll be entered continually to win. So
Yep.
if you didn't win, doesn't mean that you're scrapped. You're still entered tomorrow as well for Microsoft and Bethesda. So our winner, a listener to the show for a while, is Mr. Dylan Anderson. Actually,
Go.
yeah.
Whoa!
I'm shocked he won.
Well, he
Can we
submitted
have a
like
re-
15
Can we have
questions.
a recount?
He
Oh, I
submitted
know,
like
I know,
15
I know. I
questions.
mean, I'm shocked because I was there for the drawing.
So, Dylan, congratulations. You'll be getting a copy of Halo the Master Chief Collection and a 1-year subscription to EA Access on Xbox One. And tomorrow we've got a really cool giveaway
Congratulations,
for
Dylan.
Microsoft if you have any interest in pre-ordering games this holiday for them. So let's make sure everybody get online tonight on Facebook. Submit your questions for the Microsoft conference tomorrow. We got all our technical difficulties worked out today. So
Yeah.
tomorrow we're actually going to have a pre-show for Microsoft at 3:30 Central Time in the afternoon. That'll be 4:30 Eastern and 1:30 Pacific. And then right
Yes.
after the show, we'll come back for another 20 minutes or so, do a post show, and then we'll have our podcast here live on Twitch at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, and 4:30 Pacific Time tomorrow for Microsoft. So before we go, guys, any last minute thoughts tonight on what you're hoping to think we're going to see from Microsoft tomorrow?
A lot. I mean, we're going to see a lot of stuff. So, I put my predictions in, you know. So we'll see. I don't even know where to begin. So I'm just looking forward to it. I just want to watch and see, because they always give good presentations, and you know whatever comes.
I can't remember being this excited for a conference in a long time.
I think we're gonna get blown away.
I do too. They know the expectations are high, and I think they're gonna blow us away even then. Yeah. And here's the thing: today, they dropped the price of the One S to $199.
Oh wow!
$199? Are you out of your mind?
And
yeah,
I
that's
think
a Blu-ray player, 4K Blu-ray player.
I think that is setting up for Scorpio to be $399 tomorrow.
Drum roll.
That would be amazing.
I would like to see
that
Phil
would be
Collins
mind blow.
At the conference.
Phil Collins?
Scorpio.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, that's what I'm going to say about tomorrow, what I'm looking forward to. I'm a huge fan of Bethesda, and Xbox is like my main system. So when Scorpio and Bethesda get together and makes a wonderful baby announcement, it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait. So that's what I'm excited for.
I before you go, Eugene or Rami, I think they've been building to this conference for a long time. Ever since Phil Spencer took over, I think they've been eyeing this year, and I think they're going to come out swinging. And they've always kind of... It's weird. In the past, like, Sony's always been the one that throws the punches, and Xbox kind of, like, curls up in the ball and is like, please don't hurt me. I think Microsoft's coming out with haymakers tomorrow. I really do. And
yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting.
Let's see it.
But what cancerous name do you think they're going to give the Scorpio?
Andy Savage.
I think the Xbox.
I was gonna say one, but it's way
Xbox Savage. Oh yeah.
Hey,
Xbox
if you turn,
2.
if every time
you go turn it on,
if every time you go to turn it on, it's like ooh yeah, then that would be awesome. But
you could win a Slim Jim.
I'm telling you, the funniest thing I've ever heard, and I want to see it, I need to look it up, is the Skyrim gameplay where the mod has turned all the dragons into Randy Savage. The Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah. So I need to go watch that. But I think they're going to name it either the Xbox Elite or the Xbox Scorpio.
They just better keep it Xbox Scorpio, because that name sounds great. If they name it like some shit like Xbox 2, I will flip a desk. I swear to God, I'll do it.
I'm gonna steal that one. I'm gonna flip a desk if they do this.
They could name it the Xbox F off Sony, but I doubt that. I think it'll be
the Xbox 6 is greater than
4. Yeah,
I was about to say that.
So, no, we love Sony. We do, and but we just want to see both conferences or both consoles be great and compete. And I think Microsoft's got a chance to really put themselves in a great position tomorrow. So anyway, Eugene, what are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to myself Microsoft, because I really think they have the opportunity this year, and I hope they don't blow it, because this is the year that they have that everyone's hyped up for Microsoft this year. I've never heard anything like it. No one's talking much about Sony or Bethesda or EA. All eyes are on Microsoft right now, so they have to do well. If they do not do well, they're going to get a lot of heavy criticism for it. So they've got to be successful. They've got to come in with a good price point, and they've got to have. And it already sounds like they have support from EA right now with their newly announced game. So they got to show that they have all these developers supporting them. And I think it will happen. And Bethesda even is hinting towards it as well. So I think that I'm very excited about tomorrow and all the news that will come out tomorrow. I just really hope that I'm just floored by the news that they give tomorrow.
I'm genuinely excited.
I'm excited.
I'm genuinely excited for this conference.
Yeah. And then I'm excited for after Microsoft's. I'm excited for Sony. How are they going to combat all the great Microsoft news? Because right now, I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
If they don't bring it, they're in deep
you know
trouble.
What they'll do? They'll split.
And if they bring it, it's going to be amazing.
Well,
they'll split the curtains in the back again. They'll bring out Kojima, and they'll unveil the game he's doing after Death Stranding.
They're just gonna push him out. He's not even gonna want to go on stage. They're just gonna push him out there. It's like,
they're just gonna
just get out, man. Just get out.
He's not even gonna promote anything. They're just gonna open the curtains, have him come out and wave and walk back away.
I
They're going to
know.
pull Donald Trump,
Yeah.
and they're going to collude with Russia and have some
Yeah.
Russian hackers come in.
Oh,
There you
God.
go.
All
Oh,
right.
God. All right.
All right.
All right, Rami, bring us home. What are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Honestly, like, Xbox really needs this because
They do.
PlayStation has been knocking it out of the park with their exclusives, and we really, really need to get back on track. And the Scorpio can take us there, and their exclusives can take us there. We just need tomorrow to be amazing. That's what we need.
And
Yeah.
and you guys all kind of hit on it. Like, the Xbox fan base has never been this excited, and not for a long time. Like, looking forward to tomorrow. So tomorrow's their chance, and I think Phil Spencer knows it. And when has the man ever really truly let us down?
Not so far.
Not so far. So I look forward to big things. So, all right, with that, that's going to do it for episode number 53 of Gaming Culture Radio. We'll be back tomorrow, like we said, at 3:30 Central Time, 4:30 Eastern, and 1:30 Pacific for the Microsoft pre-show here on Twitch at Respawn Network. And right after the conference, make sure you tune in again. Catch us for the post-show, and then at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, and 4:30 Pacific, catch the podcast recapping the entire Microsoft conference before we go doing a pre and post show for Bethesda tomorrow night too. So with that, I'm Tyler saying thank you so much, and on behalf of Mike, Graham, Eugene, and Grammy, thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with episode number 54. Until then, enjoy E3, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yep. Thanks, Remy.
See you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Care.
See you, Rami.